welcome Dr. Priyanka Baddevithana for a program regarding Buddhism. He's an eminent doctor in this subject, and we are very happy to have the doctor here with us in this program. Actually, Mr. Surat Jayasundar was also going to do the program, but due to lapse of time and he has to go to Frankfurt tonight, I decided to do the program. Thank you. Welcome you, Doctor.
Very kind of you. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here, Mr. Wickramasinghe. And
you can call me Shan.
Yes, you can also call me Priyanka.
Yeah.
So Shan, it's very great privilege to be here with you, and it's an honor to be the interview done by you. So that's great.
Thank you. Actually, I got the Path to Perfect Happiness book I was expecting yesterday, but I couldn't hand it over, but you gave to me.
Okay.
And while you were doing the Jivita Sundarai program, I was directing it and reading the book at the same time. Okay. I was doing two things, like you said, the left side and the right side of the brain. Yes. And there I came across so many things that I think the audience is unaware of our ignorance. Okay. The ignorance is the most common thing in this in this world, and that's why it's damaging, and that's why we are in this world and we cannot go up.
That's right.
So I thought that we discussed this little while ago, and to elaborate on that.
All right.
Doctor, first thing is, what is ignorance?
Ignorance, we call it avidya.
Yes.
In Pali. Avidya or ignorance is actually, it's like our mind is like a pool.
Yeah.
And we don't know how deep the pool is. If the surface of the pool is turbulent, you can't see the bottom, even if it is shallow. But if the pool is very deep, even if the surface is smooth, there's no turbulence, still you won't be able to see the bottom. But there'll be some visibility that you can look into. Now our mind is like that pool, where the surface will be always turbulent with thoughts. We have constant thoughts that are based on, if you are prutajana or lay people, lobha, dosa, moha. And if you're a venerable, there may be other things like ego, wanting to develop the temple or to have a better audience and various other desires. But you're always thinking, planning, lamenting about the past, right? Or wallowing in grief for the present situation, or fearing the future. So this turbulence creates a disturbed surface which you can't even see beyond. You can't see even beyond the surface. So you got to calm the mind. Calming the mind is the most natural state of the mind. The mind is usually calm. It is with these thoughts, the external things that enter through the five faculties of the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the ears, and the skin, touch, that we create all this turbulence. So first you calm the mind, and then you see what is inside. So what you don't see, because your mind is in turbulence, is ignorance. But that is what really causes all the turbulence on the surface.
So is it due to sensual desires?
Everything.
Hatred?
The deep-rooted, the depth of the pool and the water underneath is the reason for the surface to behave turbulently when it's disturbed with external events. Now, for a pool to be turbulent, you have to throw a stone at it, or there has to be wind, or if it is the sea, there has to be a storm, or a whirlpool or something like that. So those things are external events that will disturb the water surface, but what is very deep. So in fact, this theory, Sigmund Freud has an iceberg metaphor. Iceberg metaphor is that what you see on the surface is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
But it's huge, gigantic underneath. Right? So a human being, what we observe by behavior is only the surface, or what lies above the surface according to him. According to Buddhism, we see the turbulent surface of the person. If the pool is calm, we say that's a calm person. If the person gets agitated, then there's so much turbulence, there's a storm. It's not a storm in a teacup that will go away quickly, but it can be a deep-rooted storm, which will develop into some antisocial behavior also. or things that are damaging to himself and society. So ignorance is not knowing what causes them. So if you don't look into your mind, now the classification, this samatha and vipassana has come, which was not in the original teachings of the Buddha.
Yeah.
I've been always very careful to go back to the suttas where the original teaching of the Buddha is, because so many people have interpreted things. Like this Buddha Ghosha's interpretation created this kind of dichotomy. You know, there's a division in bhavana is one, leading progressively into stages. And the Buddha has said the best form of bhavana is the satipatthana, which is the mindfulness, setting up of mindfulness. And it is a fourfold system that the Buddha has preached. So what that does is, first calm the surface, then if the pool is shallow, if you don't have deep-rooted desires that you have not eradicated, then you can see the bottom, maybe the pebbles and all the things that are there in the bottom that will create the surface tension and the behavior. And once you've seen that and understood it, it diffuses the ability to cause further tension. So this is the method that Freud used. He used psychoanalysis later, but first it was hypnotism. He hypnotized people and tried to get their deep-rooted desires that are the driving forces. Unfulfilled desires. That is what keeps people going. And people unhappy all the time. And this concept of personality, though in my book I say is the psychology of personality development and mindfulness, personality is something that is non-existent, because you go beyond the person once you attain nirvana. So it's a non-person concept, which is difficult to understand as